him whether or not if his team plays crazy, that'll delight him. Does the coach have to be crazy too? He says, well, it helps to be part of the asylum. He said, that's the way we are here.
George Karl is part of the asylum. He causes most of the craziness.
And a terrific coach as well, but a unique personality, the first to admit it. Played for Dean Smith at North Carolina. He's learned his way emotionally in the NBA. First trip in here, maybe a little overconfident and cocky, and took a few spankings and went away and came back a more mature man.
He certainly does a nice job of coaching. We're going to see a lot of different defenses thrown out there today by George Karl and the Supersonics to take the ball out of John Stockton's hands.
But again, the underlying current of this series, if Utah can play a half-court game, slow it down, they win. If Seattle is allowed to run up-tempo, then it'll be the Sonics moving on against Houston. You can just feel the excitement as both teams warmed up an hour ago. They all want to play so desperately, although early in the playoffs meaning so much. The future of this season resting in the next 48 minutes or more. Stockton draws Payton. Benoit, they'd like to get him off quickly. Karl Malone comes up high. Stockton off to Jeff Malone. Way off the mark on his first attempt, but it goes right to Eaton, who sets up Benoit.
David Benoit.
Perkins outside for Seattle, with Payton cutting through. McKee takes Benoit into the post, and Eaton, second all-time in shot blocks in NBA history to Kareem, has his first today.
The key to it, Eaton had time to get down there. Takes him a little while to get down there to block the shot. He did a nice job.
2-0 Utah. Perkins with 3, Pierce with 2. Over Eaton, rebound Malone. Karl ahead to Stockton, so it's the Jazz seeing an opportunity to run. They can't score, stolen by Benoit. So the second-year man, Benoit, has 2 slams, 4-0 Utah.
That'll give him confidence, even though they are dunks.
Payton for 2. The former Oregon State All-America makes it 4-2 Utah. That's a great matchup with Stockton on. Guarded by Payton. You saw Perkins make a run at him. They'll try to double-team Stockton, double-team Karl Malone. That's why others have to pick up the slack. Perkins rebounds Stockton, second miss. Look at that up-tempo. Quickly into the offensive end. Perkins, he likes the 3. Too long. Karl Malone loses it. Pierce bats it to Kemp. Perkins, another 3. Seattle has its first lead.
That's what happens when Eaton tries to guard the basket.
Eaton has trouble holding on. It's out of bounds on the baseline. McKee had his foot on the line. Very slowly. What a defensive star he was in the NBA. He just hopes his players today will have the kind of intensity. He'd like to be out there. Jeff Malone, he walks.
Violation called against the Utah Jazz. It's Seattle ball.
Seattle on offense, leading 5-4. Just started at the Coliseum in Seattle, Washington. Joining us, Houston defeated the Clippers 84-80 to advance to the semis in the West. Out of bounds to Utah. And the West, Cotton Fitzsimmons, so contentious. I mean, 4 of the matchups out here, 3 go to game 5, and the 4th, San Antonio had to go to overtime to win it in 4. Karl Malone's first shot down the bottom of the barrel.
That was important for Karl Malone to get that first shot down outside.
don't want that. They didn't use the 24-second clock. They don't. Sloan said, I just want my team to shoot quickly. And he buries his hands in his pockets and turns his back on that play. Eaton. Perkins blocked by Eaton. That's his second. Utah with the ball in a 6-5 lead. Eaton, and he is fouled.
Malone has gotten much better at being able to pass the basketball off. Eaton all over the place today defensively, knocking the ball away. And the Jazz have been a little surprising by pushing the ball down the court a little quicker than Jerry Sloan would like.
That wasn't by design then. It wasn't as if Sloan said, we're going to slow it down, and then really all along wanting him to run.
And one of the other things that the Seattle Supersonics want to do, they want to make sure that John Stockton stays busy on defense so he can help out everybody else.
Eaton gets 1 out of 2, and it's a 7-5 game. 4th rebound for Sam Perkins. Perkins drawing Eaton outside. Sam Perkins has 5. It's tied at 7. Sean Kemp, timeout as Kemp has asked for a towel.
He might have got a scratch on the leg, and they're cleaning it up. You know, it's very difficult for Eaton to guard the basket and also guard the perimeter shooter. That's why Perkins is in there in place of Cage.
Perkins with a little bruise on the left leg. Slight bleeding, and of course, normally they make you come out of the game until that is stopped. Apparently not serious enough for that to be invoked. Benoit misses. McKee rebounds. Again, Perkins outside for 3, and it rattles out to Karl Malone. Tied at 7. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this opening quarter. Malone blocked, but a foul. Gary Payton's first.
His first. That's the second team.
I'm sure the Sonics did not want a foul on the play. They just wanted to make it difficult for him to get his shot off, as they have in the entire series, because Jeff Malone is an outstanding free throw shooter.
Malone shooting 85% on the year, the best of the Jazz.
And another thing a made free throw will do for a shooter, it'll give him confidence on his next field goal.
And you can see Jeff Malone at 44% in the playoffs, well below his season average of almost 50%. Kemp, 3. He's a tremendous athlete.
He certainly is. That's the first time they've gone to Kemp so far in this ballgame.
Now, George Karl said that Kemp will get his points sometimes by accident. It won't be as if we have a lot of set plays for him. Not the way Utah sets it up for the postman. Stockton for 3. There's Karl Malone. Tied at 9. Sonics on the run, and it's Ricky Pierce. Rebound Eaton. 7'4", former UCLA star. Off to Benoit. And a foul. And we have a timeout with 6:04 left in this first quarter.
Sean Kemp, his first. Third team.
You see Sean Kemp
Seattle.
working for his 2 points. And at this commercial break,
The Sonics would like to.
Talking with Eddie Johnson yesterday, it is interesting that the veteran recognizing that it's tougher for the young players away from home.
It is a lot tougher for the young players away from home. But don't kid yourself for 1 minute. If you don't think Eddie Johnson is going to try to step up in Game 5, you don't know anything about Eddie Johnson.
He's not going to be happy with 8 or 10.
Not at all. He wants to win this series.
Benoit misses the front end of his 2. And misses both. 9-all, midpoint of the opening quarter. Perkins continues to clean the glass for Seattle with 5 rebounds. Ricky Pierce inside. His first points. Perkins runs at him. Jeff Malone. Randall, no basket. Jake O'Donnell with a call.
And what it was the big arms of Derek McKee again bothering Malone and caused him to shuffle his feet.
McKee and Benoit shoving inside, and the foul will go against Benoit, his first. And the first substitution, Jerry Sloan sends in the veteran Jay Humphreys, acquired from the Bucks in the offseason. He goes in for John Stockton. Stockton in an automobile accident on Monday and a lot of bumps and bruises. Felt he was fortunate that was all that happened. Stolen by Benoit to Humphreys, who averaged just under 9 a game in the regular season and hits his first shot. Ties it at 11.
Jay Humphreys likes to score as a point guard more so than John Stockton.
You'd like to see Stockton shoot more?
Yes, I certainly would.
Payton weaving his way for a 15-footer, and it comes to Humphreys. Former star at Colorado. Jay Humphreys. Shot clock, and Karl Malone hits the 17-footer, and Utah back in front by a bucket. McKee has the height advantage on Benoit, but can't hit it. Benoit with a rebound. Sloan shouts something into the ear of Humphreys as he dribbles into the offensive end. Slow it down, probably.
And get it to Karl Malone.
There he is on the outside. Drives past Kemp. Misses the easy one. Seattle looking for a tying hoop. It's Pierce from outside. Way off the mark. Right into the arms of Benoit. Teams under 40%. That's been the playoff pattern throughout the NBA. Humphreys for a 3, and Utah builds its lead to 5, the biggest enjoyed by either team. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Perkins around Eaton. Way off. Boy, not only cold, but some of the shots not even close.
And it's really messing up George Karl's game plan. He wants him to run, but you do have to make a shot every now and then.
2.5 to go in the first quarter, and the home team with 11 points. Jeff Malone not there, but Perkins is with his 6th board. Kemp has hardly touched the ball in the quarter. 1 shot. He
he was able to get the shot up before Eaton could come over to help. Eaton was looking to block it, just couldn't get there.
2 minutes.
Malone inside, and Sam Perkins, his left shoelace untied. In fact, he's about to lose the shoe. It's come so loose on that left foot. Must be tough for him to play. He's going to walk right out of that shoe. Eaton has the boards for Utah. Here come the Jazz up by 5. Ricky Pierce. And the whistle will go against Benoit. And that'll give Sam Perkins time to tidy up that left boot of his. 18-13 Jazz. Must have felt like for the first 4 games of the series he was using that oversized ball, 2 for 19.
Well, not only him, everybody in this first quarter must be using it because they haven't shot the ball at all.
Perkins and Payton are out, and Eddie Johnson and Nate McMillan in for George Karlsonics.
Well, George, I think, is just kind of struggling around trying to find somebody that'll be able to make a basket for him here in the first quarter.
Ricky Pierce, one of the game's fine free throw shooters, cuts the Utah lead to 3 with a minute to go in this first quarter. Mike Brown in for Utah. And Ty Corbin also makes his first appearance for the Jazz. Malone outside. Comes all the way out to Pierce. Seattle in this quarter without a transition basket or fast break basket, and that's not the way George Karl had it written. But it's been to the tempo of Sloan and Utah. Michael Cage in for the first time. Johnson. Oh my, he didn't intend to bank that one.
Now, don't tell Eddie Johnson that. He intended to bank it all the way if you ask him after the game.
1-point game, final seconds of the opening quarter. Not brilliantly executed offensively, but building towards something special here in Seattle. With a second and a half, Malone misses, and that's the end of the quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score Utah 18, Seattle 17.
Malone with 6 points and 4 rebounds. The Jazz in a low-scoring first 12 minutes, leading the Sonics 18-17. Back at the Coliseum in Seattle, where the Jazz lead 18-17. Opening the second quarter, Dick Enberg with Cotton Fitzsimmons. Magic Johnson off playing with the All-Stars in one of the world's great countries, Finland. Pierce. That was to take the lead for Seattle. Mike Brown off to John Stockton. Stockton returning, so it's Humphries, Stockton, Brown, Karl Malone, and Ty Corbin for Utah on offense. McKee, Pierce, Johnson, McMillan, and Cage for Seattle. Wide open is Humphries. Eddie Johnson can't control. Out of bounds to Utah.
They have to hit those shots when they double-team Karl Malone, Humphries, Jeff Malone. They have to make those shots.
Look at the difference. Regular season, 2 high-scoring teams. Utah, Seattle. Minus 20 points for Utah. Minus 19 on the average for Seattle in the playoffs. Of course, that's the pattern throughout the league, but perhaps not that dramatic.
Everybody gets conservative. Players, coaches, and even referees get conservative about blowing the whistle.
Nice feed to Humphries from Karl Malone, but he can't hit. Here comes a chance for the fast break basket. And denied by Karl Malone, who wanted to block.
He certainly did.
Now on the
second time Sean Kemp got a chance to score, going real tough to the basket. Malone trailing it, thought he had nothing but ball, but the officials just wouldn't agree with it.
First foul on the post man. The mailman.
The game for Seattle is number 31, Derek McKee.
Tied at 18 as Kemp now with 3 points. Neither team wants to move it on the scoreboard. That's right. This is the second quarter tied at 18. Stockton looking in for his Olympic buddy, and the battle between Cage and Karl Malone is going to cost Michael Cage his first foul.
And I really do, as a coach, have a hard time determining what is a foul and what's not, because they really go at it here. They're going back and forth, back and forth. I don't know what determines when the official blows the whistle.
Both men using their hands, and of course the one rule they lean on is that the defender has both hands in the back. They'll whistle it, but that one a tough one to call. Brown posting up. And a foul on Brown for the charge, apparently. Oh, 3 seconds is the call. 3 seconds on Mike Brown.
Yeah, he got in there. John Stockton said a back pick for Mike Brown, but he just stayed in there too long. The Jazz were not able to execute in enough time.
Stolen by Stockton, who led the lead. Out of bounds to Seattle.
You really had to like Kemp that time. Stockton made the steal, but Sean Kemp wouldn't give up on it. He just stayed with it, dove on the floor, came out with that basketball, would not give up. You like that in a young player.
David Benoit back in for Utah. Humphreys out. Eddie Johnson. Rebound Corbin. Stockton breaking through. Rejected by Johnson. Does anyone in this house want to score? Still tied at 18 with 9:40 left in the first half. Cage not expected to score. McMillan has been called. 2 for 20 in the series, and a foul.
Well, any time that Eddie Johnson blocks the shot, you know that it's going to be tough to score in this building.
Or the tempo, we talked about it. It's the slow walk on the scoreboard. And here inside the Seattle Coliseum, the Jazz and Sonics trying to find a way to score. Still tied at 18. 9:23 left in the first half. Ty Corbin inside to Eaton. Stolen away again. Another stop by Seattle. And apparently, as contact was made by McMillan with the ball, his foot was out of bounds. And it'll be Utah playing it in.
Well, they just are not giving up anything easy on either end. John Stockton certainly struggled in this series since his accident.
The Monday accident in Salt Lake City going to practice, he said the passenger side was really destroyed, and he'd never admit he's hurt, but he's only 6 for 21 since then, shooting 28%. That's not John Stockton. 3 on the clock. And they were going to get a shot off anyway.
24-second violation.
That guy again, Derek McKee, guarding John Stockton, making it difficult for him to drive to the hoop and to pass it off.
This is Bob Costas' kind of game, a pitching duel. He likes those low-scoring games. 1 point scored by either team, and another miss as McMillan can't get one to drop. Just one free throw scored by Seattle in this quarter to tie it at 18. Stockton gets the foul, his first, and McMillan at the line.
But Jerry Sloan probably still happy, even though it's 18-18. His team's not making any shots, but he's keeping the Sonics from making a lot.
He wants this to be, what, a fourth quarter game?
He wants to have a chance to win in the last 3 minutes of play with the two dream teamers on the court.
McMillan hits them both, and Seattle has the lead at 20-18. Under 9 to go in the half. There they run 2 minutes. Stockton trying to destroy the rhythm of that Utah offense, and Benoit hits the 15-footer.
That is the guy who has to hit that shot on the baseline. Anytime you go out and trap somebody, it'll be open.
Wide open is Michael Cage. Benoit rips it down. Derek McKee moving out, as you indicated early, Cotton, on Stockton on the ball, and then they run McMillan at it. That leaves Benoit open for 3, and he drains it. That's 5 points quickly from Benoit.
Well, we said that those few dunks that he got might give him confidence, and Benoit starting to light it up.
9 points for Benoit, who failed to score in the last game. That's Eddie Johnson with 4. 23-22, Utah. McMillan, one of the top defending guards in the NBA, 6'5" on Stockton now. Brown over Cage. Tough 5-footer for Mike Brown for his first points of the game. With his 4th rebound. Running down court with his tongue flapping, saying, "Give me the ball, I'm hot. I made the last one." Stockton runs the show as well as any guard in the league. Benoit's got the hot hand and draws the foul. Eddie Johnson got him in the head as he delivered that shot. With it, a timeout in Seattle. 6:49 left in the half.
13th foul of the quarter. Timeout, Seattle.
Welcome back to Seattle. Now show us that double team action.
Anytime that you double team a man, you're definitely going to leave somebody open, and that is exactly what the Sonics are doing in this ball game. And the guy open right here, David Benoit. And every time that he's open, the last 2 possessions, he has buried the shot. The last one for a 3. Maybe they found the key when they double team Stockton.
See the up and down series for Benoit today with 9 to lead all scores, and he's at the line. 0 for 2. It's his first free throw. Benoit trying to celebrate his birthday early. He'll be 25 years old tomorrow.
A lot of pressure on this young man. They made a trade, gave up Blue Edwards to make a spot for Benoit, so there is a lot of pressure on him.
They lost some toughness, didn't they, when they let Edwards go to Milwaukee?
They certainly did. Tough guy.
Seattle 1 for 6 in this second quarter. Eddie Johnson partially blocked by Benoit. Taken down by Mike Brown, and here comes Stockton. Malone positions on the far side of the lane. Mike, it's Corbin inside, keeping it alive, and taken away by Nate McMillan. McMillan. That's a welcome shot for George Karl on the Seattle bench. 4 points for McMillan.
Yeah, anytime a guy is 2 for 20, he hits one, it has to make him feel good also.
Both teams continue to struggle to score. 2 of the higher scoring teams in the NBA, and Karl Malone going outside, clogged inside. Malone hits another jumper. He has 8. McMillan back-to-back buckets.
No way they get a layup if Mark Eaton's in the ball game. They had no shot blockers there that time.
Utah by 3 with 5:15 left in the half. McMillan diving for the ball. Back out to Stockton alone for 2. And John Stockton has his first basket. He's almost too unselfish, isn't he?
He is too unselfish. Very seldom shoots unless his team needs it.
McMillan for 2. Brown with the rebound. And says slow it down, and Stockton knows just what that pattern is. Looks over at Sloan, who gives the signal. On the clock. Stockton with 4. Good defense by Seattle. And time called, a 22nd timeout by Utah, and that's with 1 second left on the shot clock. They might as well have just thrown one up there blindly.
But John Stockton had the ball. He was trapped by 2 big men. No way he could even get the shot off. But it's going to be tough right now using your 20 with only 1 second to go to get the shot off. I think you're absolutely right.
Well, that 1 second desperation play now for Jerry Sloan reminds us of the Boston-Charlotte the final second. What do you think? Do you think that should have been a foul or a goaltend?
No, I don't think so at all. I really don't. I just think Boston messed up on the out-of-bounds play and allowed the guy to be open. They allowed Mourning to be open there.
No, I mean then when McHale.
Oh, no.
That wasn't a goaltend?
No goaltend at all. 2 great athletes up in the air after the basketball. Now you're going to get me officiating, aren't you?
Well, why not? You did for 19 years in the league.
You're absolutely right. I'll be anxious to see what they try to do here. Normally, with 1 second to go, you'll try to throw a lob, if you possibly could, up towards the basket.
All right, 1 second on the shot clock. Karl Malone will trigger it in. Little back pick. Stockton will force up a 3-pointer. It'll count if it goes. And he was close. Good rebound by Nate McMillan. He scored 6 points. Eddie Johnson rejected by Karl Malone. 3-on-2 the other way. Corbin blocked by Perkins, fouled by Perkins. His first. Interior defense has been brilliant.
Very few transition baskets because of the interior defense. Looked like Eddie Johnson had a layup. They knock it away. Normally, a block shot on one end will create a layup on the other. Perkins just took the layup away by making the foul.
Tyrone Corbin yet to score in the game. High school teammate in South Carolina and Columbia was Xavier McDaniel. They graduated together, state champions, see each other during the summer. Corbin hopes he'll have a little more to talk about after these playoffs. 4 minutes and a change left in this half. Eddie Johnson for 2. Rebound Karl Malone, and Seattle at home with only 26 points in nearly a half. A team that was in the top 5 scoring, the 5th best scoring team in the league, 108 plus points per game during the regular year. Corbin jamming his way in. Rebound Perkins. Very big. Brown on McKee. Johnson throws it up there and hits. The veteran from Illinois now has 6.
Both teams seem to be relying on the outshot. Sean Kemp has not had the ball enough in the paint to see whether he could score or not.
He only touched it about 3 times offensively in the whole half. Benoit hawked by McKee. Mike Brown, the big guy from George Washington University, nails his 4th point. Absolutely perfect as far as Jerry Sloan is concerned. Low scoring, and his team, the Jazz, leading the whistle away from the ball. And for George Karl, his team not crazy enough. They're down by 7. All right, Bob, and this crowd trying to get the Sonics going. 28 points with 2:36 left in the half. And George Karl just trying to find some way to get his team on the go, and slowing it down against this Utah defense. They're taking, what, too many outside shots, you think, Cotton?
They need to get the ball inside to Kemp and Perkins, and now they're going to Perkins.
Kemp tried the tip, not there. And Benoit has come up with a big first half for Utah. 4 rebounds. Jeff Malone back in. Brown. Rebound Perkins.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
8 points in this half. 2 minutes to go in the half. Where is Shawn Kemp in all of this? And he's on the bench now. No, there he is. He might as well be, as much as he's touched the ball. You wonder if that dental injury might be a factor. Kemp fighting to get that layup, and it just won't fall. Brown with a rebound. Whistle away from the ball as Jeff Malone and Ricky Pierce in a push and shove.
Knowing Ricky Pierce like I do, I guarantee you he put the body on him. They finally get the ball inside to Kemp, and it just rolls in and out. Not many layups are made in these playoff series. Not many fouls are called. That's why the scores are in the 80s.
Jeff Malone at the line for Utah. The Jazz with a 7-point lead with 1:25 to go. His only points today, Jeff Malone from the free throw line. And he too misses, and he's the best that Utah has. He's got 2 points today.
One of the problems was he was open for the first time in the game shooting the free throw.
Can't even make the free throws. Ricky Pierce flashing into the lane, was open, but Payton didn't see him. 3 on the shot clock. They're not going to get one off. There's the buzzer. 24-second violation, and that's got the fans booing in Seattle.
Well, they just seem to be in some type of funk here that they cannot get anything going. Too many people are handling the basketball and allowing the clock to run down.
Haleman can't connect, but the follow, both Brown and Karl Malone there. Give it to Malone. He has 10. Another miss by Seattle. Rebound Brown. He's come off the bench with 5 rebounds. 34 seconds left in the half. And Seattle working on a 60-point, if you multiply their effort in this first half, a 60-point game. Karl Malone. With 20 seconds left, Seattle trying to get at least something else. Benoit had a hand on it. Perkins having trouble finding the handle. Whoa, Stockton a near steal. Payton scores! 4 points for Gary Payton. 5 seconds left in the half. Jeff Malone squares up and hits. 0.3 of a second on the clock. 4 points for Jeff Malone. The end of the half. We'll see if there's some major strategy changes here at the start of the second half. Same 5s that started the game. Stockton off by Pierce. Trying to get to Eaton. A rare shot by Eaton. Knocked out of bounds by Benoit.
You can see Derek McKee going really strong, and Eaton was nowhere around to block it.
Perkins tries a 3 and hits it. 5 quick ones for the Sonics.
And they needed them because they left with boos from the crowd. They came back with cheers.
Utah's 9-point lead at the half, the biggest of the game. Seattle has led only twice. That was early by 1 and 2 points. Stolen by Benoit. Over Kemp and a foul. No basket. here that the two Seattle players are battling for possession.
That happened early in the game. They're both very aggressive. A coach cannot be upset with two of his players going for the basketball. He just has to tell them, keep hustling, keep hustling. Things will break our way if we hustle.
The foul was on Gary Payton, his second. No one in foul trouble either side. Earlier, Houston beat the Clippers 84-80. The winner of this game 5 will go on into the semifinals of the West against the Rockets and Hakeem Olajuwon. Stockton was 7. Karl Malone.
That hasn't happened very often to where they could get Malone the ball that low and him have not 2 or 3 people on him.
Pierce hard to the hole and a foul. Here's Malone at the other end.
Anytime you could get the ball to Malone with one guy trying to guard him, make sure you do. That time Kemp was there, but he left him, made an easy bucket. But Seattle came right back very aggressive twice now today. Even though Ricky Pierce is 1 for 6 at halftime, he will take the ball to the hoop.
Pierce with 4 points in the game.
Bob Kloppenberg, their defensive specialist coach, over there flashing no signs today. He's trying to set his team right now in what he wants them to run. They're going to run a 2-fist defense.
That sounds like boxing language.
Pierce hits them both. It's a 4-point game. Oh, what a setup by Stockton.
Well, he is the master of the setup in the NBA now that other guy's over in Finland.
Magic Johnson will return with us on NBC for next weekend's action. No whistle. The fans thought that should have been a foul.
And Sean Kemp, the youngster, also thought it was a foul, but he doesn't get too upset, which is good. He keeps his composure. He went into traffic. They could have called a charge on him. He also got hit from behind. They just let it go.
Sam Perkins draws Eaton outside. Jeff Malone on Ricky Pierce. Kemp and Karl Malone and Perkins for 3. Sam Perkins laces another left-handed train.
One more 3, and you've probably seen the last of Markey.
That's 3 3-pointers for Perkins. Karl Malone blocked by Perkins and a foul.
Anytime that you decide you're going to run a half-court trap, you're going to try to take the ball out of Stockton's hands. People are scrambling around. That particular time, the Sonics left the middle open, and Malone could have driven one of his big trucks right through there.
Ricky Pierce, the first player in the game with 3 fouls. First free throw for Karl Malone. Now that's amazing. No free throw chances for a whole half.
I don't think any of my teams would have had as many losses against Karl Malone if it would have happened to us. He normally got the first free throw in the game right after the Star Spangled Banner.
Led the league in free throw attempts for the last several years. Malone was again the leader this season, more than, well, they had 70 more than David Robinson, who was second. 5-point Utah lead as Malone leads all scorers with 14. The pace in the early minutes of this second half, much more up-tempo. Seattle working harder for the shots.
They really are.
McKee, or that was Pierce with a hand in the face. Malone stripped away, but the ever-present Stockton gets it back. Traveling is the call. Stockton thought he was tackled.
Let me just say this. This game is for men, not for youngsters, because there is a lot of contact. Malone goes up, loses his balance, battles hard on the floor for the ball. They come in, try to grab it away from him. Stockton dives in there, and they end up with the travel. But did you notice not a lot of complaining to the official?
45-40, Utah with the lead, Seattle with the ball. Very low number of turnovers. McKee finds Perkins 4. He has a 14 points in the game. Jeff Malone for 2. Chance to tie for Utah unless Perkins wants a 3. Payton scores. There, a rare quick basket for Seattle. Now they're crazy at the Coliseum. Payton on the break, setting up Kemp. Stockton with his second foul. That's the one that tied it.
Well, Payton just took it coast to coast to get the layup. Then that time they were running extremely hard towards the basket. 3-on-2. Eaton couldn't get back in time. Stockton tried to get the charge, but he stuck the shoulder into Kemp, and he'll go to the line.
The first lead for Seattle since 5:40 had expired in the opening quarter. In this, quite a run for the Sonics early in the third. You knew they had one in their offensive system. Malone calls for timeout. George Karl's team takes a 46-45 lead. Seattle outscoring Utah 16-6 in this third quarter. Cotton?
Well, one of the main reasons is Mark Eaton, Sam Perkins. Anytime that you have those two guys in the ball game, watch Mark Eaton just follow the basketball. He doesn't worry about Perkins, and look at Sam Perkins spotting up. That's why we see those three-pointers. If it continues to happen, Eaton will have to go to the bench.
Perkins on his way to his best ever from three-point range. He has all 4 of Seattle's trays. A one-point game, Seattle. 7.5 left in the third quarter. Jeff Malone with 2 seconds. Benoit with a tip. Malone. Oh, Benoit didn't see it. It went off the back of Benoit's leg. Out of bounds to Seattle. Lead for Seattle today.
The big thing, though, is how they're taking the ball out of John Stockton's hands and not allowing them to set their offense.
Eaton blocked by Perkins and a foul. That'll go against Perkins. His second.
Well, Stockton that time was able to penetrate, made a beautiful pass, but they went up and got him on the arm. Eaton, it's tough to block his shot. He's so tall.
Perkins much more animated in this series than the laid-back Laker that we saw in years past and in Dallas as well. Eaton trying to end an 8-0 run by Seattle, misses the first.
And again, I think the run started with the Seattle defense. The fact that they will not give the Jazz time enough to get to their basic set offense of trying to take the ball inside to Karl Malone.
(48-46) Seattle. After 8 unanswered Sonic points. 14,200 plus here. One of the noisier buildings in the NBA, the second smallest, second to the Memorial Coliseum up in, or down in Portland. Kemp, he traveled. So the presence of Eaton, while he doesn't move that quickly, he is a mountain to get around.
But he is going to have to leave this game because of Perkins' shooting. Mike Brown will come in and replace Eaton.
Brown, who did a good job in the first half, especially on the boards. Utah looking to tie. Jay Humphries back in for the Jazz. Quick pass by Stockton. He and Malone just work like they're 2 and 1. 2 men and 1. Tied at 48. Perkins, oh, he thought about it. Oh, no foul as Pierce jammed his way. Perkins, 5. No. Rebound and a foul on Stockton. Pushing off. Or is it Karl Malone?
I could not see the signal.
It's on Stockton. His third. Less than 6 to go in the third quarter. Seattle, Utah tied the winner to get Houston in the semis of the West.
One thing I've noticed is that Seattle is moving the ball much better. George Karl talked about that at halftime, how he wanted to see his team move the basketball better. More options, more opportunities to score.
That's a 4th team foul on Utah in the quarter, as Humphries has his first personal. Pierce is 4 for 4 free throw shooting.
Do you hex everybody when you say it?
I wish I were that good. I can't even hex my 9-year-old.
Pierce gets the second, and Seattle reclaims at 49-48. Little modest pressure up court from McKee. Boy, at 6'10", he can move.
He sure can. Now he goes back to guarding the forward after he pressures the guard.
And Karl Malone now with 10 on the shot clock. Short. Utah, good job getting back as Pierce hits.
He's hit, and he also thought he got hit, but it didn't matter. He still stuck it.
11 points for Ricky Pierce. All right, Malone. Karl Malone starts high. Mike Brown. And the foul, and that was close to a 3-second violation on Brown again. He was camping out.
Well, he got in the paint, and there was really no place else for him to go. And all at once, anytime, look at the swarm of white jerseys come around him. 3 guys there, and he just couldn't get the shot off to get the easy bucket.
Perkins with a foul, and that's the 4th team foul on Seattle. So from now on, 1 on the penalty, both sides. Stockton out. Jeff Malone in for Utah. So it's Jeff Malone and Humphries the backcourt. Mike Brown the jump ball. Jeff Malone. 51-50 Seattle.
Credit Ty Corbin with that. He kept the ball alive, knocked it outside.
Kicked by Humphries. New 24 for Seattle with 4 minutes 36 seconds left in the third quarter. A 1-point game.
Kloppenberg told me before the game he didn't realize Sam Perkins was as good a player for the Lakers as he was until he got him here.
The Lakers missed him. Jeff Malone with a quick trigger. So Jeff Malone back-to-back hoops. He has 8. Meanwhile, Perkins, as Seattle comes in on offense, 16 points, 11 rebounds to lead Seattle in both categories. Gary Payton. Things are heating up.
I think we're going to have a ball game now, a real basketball game with good shooting both teams.
Good job by Payton on Humphries. Mike Brown outside. Way off. Pierce rebounds. Seattle on the run. Biggest Sonics lead. 5 points with 3:15 left in the third. Seattle has scored 27 points in the third quarter, only 30 the whole first half.
And they do that in 9 minutes. Jeff
Malone saves it, but no basket. A foul called on Sean Kemp, I believe. Now it's going to be McKee in his first.
He goes right in there for the bucket, uses his body. Even though Mike Brown bumped him, he was still able to knock it down.
Welcome back to Seattle, where Sam Perkins has had a most important game for the Sonics.
Well, he figured to be in this. Any time that you go over to help your teammate and you leave a guy open, this is what normally will happen. That time Perkins turned down the three-point shot, took it to the hoop strong, and says, "Get out of my way, I'm coming in."
He didn't apply any added verbal abuse, so we asked him about that. Remember the play in Game 4 up in Utah when he made the block, and he really went after the fallen Jazz player Mike Brown. He calls that jaw-jacking. Not just trash, that's jaw-jacking on the blacktop in New York.
He has been the offensive factor here in the third quarter, and Derek McKee continues to be the defensive factor, making the Jazz guards give the basketball up to the forward.
Mike Brown hits a pair of charities, and it's 57-54. Seattle on offense, where they've made 10 out of 12 shots in this quarter. 83% after shooting only 32% the entire first half. Payton gets inside, and he's fouled by Humphries.
That was a definite set play after that timeout. They double-teamed Kemp, and Gary Payton got Jay Humphries to look at Kemp, and when he did, he cut the backside for an easy two.
Payton looking for his 11th point. 6-point lead, the largest for the Sonics today. 2.5 to go. So they have equaled their entire first half total in 9.5 minutes of this quarter. Deflected to Humphries, and he throws it away.
He saw Mike Brown open for an easy layup, but Mike Brown didn't see him.
Oh, boy, they brushed by McMillan, and he runs into Jeff Malone's face with an elbow, and that'll be a foul on McMillan.
His first.
They will let a lot of contact go on, but they will not let this type of stuff go on, where McMillan continued his movement, stuck his shoulder, and the shoulder went right into the mouth and nose of Jeff Malone. And now Ty Corbin, and they're going at it a little bit too, McMillan and Ty Corbin. I'm sure McMillan a little frustrated in his poor shooting in the playoff, and he's trying to take it out on the other end.
John Stockton set in for Utah. Here's another look at it. McMillan is kind of leaning that shoulder out and caught Malone on that moving screen, and that's a pretty good blow. Malone out, Stockton returning for the Jazz. Three-pointer by Humphries. Perkins, that's a dozen rebounds to go with his 16 points. Says slow it down. Utah trails by 6 after leading almost the entire first half and the early part of this third quarter. Ty Corbin inside. And no basket. That went up from underneath. And a foul.
Well, that's a basic set play. Normally, Ty Corbin, when he posts up low, will go up and set a back pick on Karl Malone. That time they fronted Ty Corbin. Stockton, being Stockton, saw it and just threw the long pass to him, and they had to foul him.
Nate McMillan committing his second foul. Perkins goes out to a standing ovation. Acquired from the Lakers, Benoit Benjamin. And the rights to young Doug Christie going to the Lakers in a midseason deal. Although Sam says he still keeps more than a wary eye on his former teammates.
Yeah, he said he was going to watch that game tomorrow down in Phoenix where the Suns and Lakers will do battle.
That'll be part of our triple header on NBC tomorrow. The third game as Corbin connects. He now has 4. Make that 3 points for Corbin. Kemp. Oh, what a quick move around Corbin. 7 points for Shawn Kemp. Corbin with Kemp on the rebound. Final minute of this third quarter. McMillan, a 3, and for Seattle, this quarter has been a Sonics boom. Malone was looking for the foul, and at midcourt, Utah's Mike Brown commits the foul with 31 seconds left in the quarter, his second.
Jerry Sloan cannot like this last minute, much less the quarter. He wanted to be within 5, and the Supersonics have now pushed it to 10, makes it very difficult.
And Nate McMillan, who made that 3, has 9 points today. He had only 5 points in total in the series. 4 games, he scores 5. Shawn Kemp so quiet in the first half when he scored just 3. Now has 5 points in the second half. And Seattle's fans celebrate a lead of 12. What a quarter. As outstanding offensively this quarter as their first half was dismal. Utah really needs to end the quarter with some points.
They certainly do.
That's
They
the guy
went to the right guy, but he didn't make it. But they called the foul.
I believe McMillan reaching in got him.
Foul on number 10.
That's his third.
The problem the Jazz have will be in the fourth quarter. They're not a catch-up type of team. They're more of a controlled tempo team. And when they fall back so many points, it's tough for them to catch up.
Malone leads Utah, as does Sam Perkins with Seattle in scoring and rebounding. There are his numbers. Those were high scores for Utah all 4 games, as he was again in the top 5 in the NBA scoring this season. His 5th consecutive year. His playoff average is over 27. He has 18 today. Seconds. Payton banks it in. Gary Payton with 13 points. Too late. The end of a Sonic third quarter that rallied them from 9 down to 12 up. 12 minutes to go. We'll be back. Amazing 82% shooting by Seattle in the third quarter. 31% for Utah. Humphries. Tipped by Benoit. Benoit. At the other end, Eddie Johnson is short, and Michael Cage rebounds. Johnson. Nate McMillan. No, that's Kemp. Shawn Kemp hitting. He has 11.
Good ball movement by the Supersonics in this second half, hitting the open man.
39-18 after a 30-point first half. That was only 3 points from their record high, Seattle, in the playoffs. And John Stockton, that's what he does. When they get behind, then he starts shooting.
You'll see Stockton shoot a lot in this fourth quarter to try to bring his club back.
Only 4 points for Stockton. Meanwhile, McMillan having a big game with 11. for him. Every possession precious for Utah, down by 14. Stockton.
You're right, Coach Fitzsimmons.
Every time his team gets behind, he'll bring them back if he can.
Eddie Johnson answers at the other end.
The problem is the Sonics have a lot more weapons, I think, than the Jazz do.
Karl Malone inside. He now leads all scorers with 20. Illegal defense is the call. A warning. Todd Corbin comes in.
Well, you don't see Karl Malone get the ball in this game very much low without somebody doubling. He laid it in beautifully. That's what the Jazz will have to do if they expect to come back in this fourth quarter.
Well, Eddie Johnson said, I'll settle for 8 to 10 today if the young kids score. That's where he sits right now. Seattle with a 12-point lead. Johnson. Rebound, Mark Eaton. Johnson with a steal, but he runs over Stockton and gets the foul, his second.
With Michael Cage in the game, Mark Eaton can stay in there and help out, and that's what he's trying to do defensively now, because Cage will not take the three-point shot like Perkins.
John Stockton pushing off for his fourth foul.
Gary Payton can get under your skin, and it certainly upset Stockton that time. He just pushed him off.
See Stockton hustling. He's just trying to help out wherever the ball might go. McMillan then is free from Humphries. That's a two-pointer. 13 for Nate McMillan. And Jerry Sloan jumping almost out of the court to yell at Jake O'Donnell.
Well, Jake is not one guy you want to yell at. He'll handle it himself. What was happening that time, Payton was holding Stockton, and Sloan wanted to make sure he knew it. Jake O'Donnell always knows.
Ty Corbin on the side, rolls one in. Former DePaul star cuts Seattle's lead to 12. The time ticking away in Seattle's behalf. 8.5 to go in the fourth. McMillan block, gets it back. Michael Cage, no basket. The ball was still in the cylinder.
Offensive basket interference called against Seattle.
Nice block by Eaton. Nate McMillan stayed with it. Nice feed. And Cage saw he missed the shot. He just had to get back up and put it in.
Ty Corbin. Rebound McMillan. The 6'5" guard from North Carolina State. Sam Perkins. Saturday in Seattle, 18 for him. Timeout, Utah. As high as the Space Needle. Sam Perkins, 18 today, is high in Seattle, 21 after being traded by the Lakers. A big game player, and the Lakers have missed him during the course of this year. Stockton hits the three. Well, what a player. Your point so well taken. He's so good that he wants to be the playmaker and the assist man, and only when it's desperation does he shoot, and he can produce.
You'd like to see him shoot the ball more if you're the coach.
Cage, hit by Corbin. Corbin fouled by McMillan. That'll be 4 on McMillan.
Good hustle that time, Ty Corbin. He stayed with it. Loose ball out on the court belongs to anybody, but Ty Corbin just wouldn't give it up. He wanted to stay with it all the way. That could have been anybody's basketball. You like to see a guy be aggressive, even though they had a defender back. He took it right to him and could go to the line.
Corbin, a player you know well, so solid. You can almost write in about 12, 13 points a game, 6 or 7 rebounds.
One of the biggest mistakes I've made in Phoenix, not protecting him during expansion. Lost him to Minnesota.
Utah pulls within 9. Seattle had led by 14 here in the 4th quarter. Inside the Cage. Assist to Eddie Johnson. Michael Cage, his first points. Less than 7 minutes to go. Karl Malone. Short again. Perkins. 13 rebounds for Perkins. Eddie Johnson blocked by Malone. And a foul on Malone. No, they're going to call it goaltending. No foul. Give the points to Johnson.
Jack Madden made the call from way out front. Obviously, Madden thought the ball touched the backboard, and it did touch the backboard, and Malone went and got it. Basket interference.
10 points for Eddie Johnson. Malone. And he'll get the call. Foul on Cage. Cage thought he was charged into his 3rd.
Michael Cage, his 3rd.
Seattle coaches working hard on defense. Bob Kloppenberg, George Karl off the bench saying, stop this big guy. Well, the mailman is a tough guy to stop, especially if he puts it on the floor and takes it towards the hoop, which he said he wanted to do today.
He's 4 for 4 from the line. That's his 21st point. 11 rebounds, a typical top game for the mailman.
All those youngsters out there that struggle at the free throw line, here's a good lesson. Karl Malone could not shoot the ball from the line when he came in the pros. He's outstanding now.
Nice touch, 83-72, Seattle. Seattle down by 9 at the half, 39-30. Have played at a blistering pace in the second half. Gary Payton hits again. So Payton and McMillan have really sparked Seattle the second half. 15 for him, 13 for McMillan. Benoit for 3. Look at Stockton in with the big guys. Rebound Kemp. 3-on-1 with Eaton back. McMillan.
Great move by McMillan. He used the rim against Big Eaton so he couldn't block the shot.
Timeout Utah. And they're starting to celebrate in Seattle.
Good outlet pass by Shawn Kemp to trigger that fast break. And then Nate McMillan really uses his head. No way he gets a layup on Eaton unless he goes up and under as he did. Beautiful.
And the Sonics special cheering section salutes Seattle's biggest lead, 15. If Seattle's victorious, it will be the Rockets. And despite the fact Houston won the Midwest, Seattle had the better record, 4th best in the league, and they would host that series beginning on Monday night. The first 2 games will be Monday, Wednesday. But Utah, with 5:41 to go, looking for a hot hand, and Stockton saving a bad pass to Malone. Malone can't hit. Shawn Kemp to Johnson, stolen by Jeff Malone, and George Karl didn't want that pass. Stockton for 3. Right down the bottom of the well.
Now, will the Supersonics try to slow it down, or will they continue to push like they did in the 3rd?
What would you do?
I would push the ball and shoot it all the way.
Payton does. Payton with 17, McMillan with 15 in the backcourt. They've outscored John Stockton and Jeff Malone by 12, 32-20. That's been key. Karl Malone passes up the open 17-footer. Jeff Malone all alone for a 12-footer.
That was so funny that time because the Sonics have been scrambling, covering up the paint so much that nobody went out to cover Karl Malone or Jeff Malone.
Eddie Johnson strong.
And that answers that question.
Vance wanted traveling as Corbin saved that long pass. Karl Malone, his pass awry, and a foul by Stockton. His fifth.
Number 12, John Stockton, his fifth.
But if you're choosing up sides, don't overlook the little guy. And John Stockton is one of many in this league that continue to be so important to the franchise.
Well, if you're choosing up sides, make sure you got him.
The shooting in this game, Utah so consistent, and Seattle really Jekyll and Hyde. 76% this half.
Well, you figure when you shoot 42% and you're up by 9, you got to feel lucky. You shoot 41, and now you find yourself down by 14.
And time running out on Utah's season. Foul outside on Corbin. His first. Stockton stays in there with 5. You got to keep him on the floor.
You certainly do. Jazz still have 2 more fouls to take before the Sonics go into the bonus.
Well, no team won their games by a larger margin than the Seattle Supersonics this year. When they get ahead, that means it's tough to catch them. And Utah, a team that may have that trouble anyway. 3 seconds. Pierce gets it right back. Blocked by Karl Malone. He got him with a body. His second.
He didn't like the call at all. I like what Ricky Pierce did. He got the ball back after missing the shot, took it right to Karl Malone. He got nothing but ball, but then the arm slipped off of it, got Ricky Pierce. Jack Neese says you'll go to the line for 2.
Pierce 5 for 6 today. That's his 12th point. Now the Jazz battling now a 15-point lead and the clock 3:37.
And Kloppenberg still flashing those signs over there on defense all day long. I don't know what they mean, but they worked a lot better in the second half than they did the first.
Jeff Malone.
Jeff Malone.
In the previous 4 games, the winner unable to score 100. And if you'd have told anyone here that Seattle might score 100 in this game at halftime, they'd have laughed at you. The Sonics had only 30 points at the intermission. They're going to try to score 70 the second half. Karl Malone.
Karl Malone.
24 now for Karl to lead all scorers. Now the clock shows 2:45 left. Payton with 6 on the clock. Rebound Karl Malone to Stockton. Stockton, oh, he just will not quit.
Stockton.
If you once don't succeed, try again. That's John Stockton.
12-point lead for Seattle. McGee can't tip it in. Corbin gets the rebound.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter. 2 minutes.
It's Malone with that high arch. It's a 10-point game. Less than 2 minutes to go.
Stockton certainly moves the ball around. I believe Dick Enberg, you could hit the jumpers if you played for him. He'd set you up.
I'd be too busy watching him. He is Every time you see John Stockton, you become more a fan of his. George Karl, an agonizing 1:58 left.
They'll take it over on the side, so it was a good foul.
It was on Benoit.
In the last 2 minutes. Substitution for
All right, you saw Sloan get the cross fingers. What play is that?
That means you're going to trap. First time the ball comes into somebody, if they can, they want to trap it.
Barely beating the
There's your trap.
So George Karl, they spread the floor. One of the Seattle Stars, Perkins, along with McMillan and Payton in the backcourt. They're the ones that come up big. Payton again, way off the mark. Stockton tips it, goes right to McKee, and he is fouled. That was bad luck for Utah.
Bad luck for Utah, but good hustle by the Supersonics. They all stayed in there. Anytime the ball is loose, Payton couldn't get the ball to the cylinder even. Hit the backboard. Ball was loose. The 24-second clock should have kept running. And finally, they had to foul it.
They used 23 of the 24 seconds and get a free throw as well. McKee's first free throw. He has 5 points today. Mr. Consistency, Derek McKee. Averaging just under 13 in the playoffs. He averaged 13-4 during the regular season. 12-point deficit staring at Utah. Not much time. Stockton hits his third three in the quarter.
3 points, Stockton.
I'm convinced if he wanted to be one of the leading scorers in the league, he could.
He had 2 points the first half. He has 15 points in the second. Almost half the foul here. Now down to 6. Riding in hard, and that'll be against Payton on the charge. His fourth.
The Jazz got what they wanted. The Sonics did not get fouled. They didn't get the bucket. Payton taking it to the hole, time running out, and actually kicked Benoit a little bit.
Last minute of play. The winner gets Houston in the next round. Malone left alone. And Stockton with another pretty assist. A 7-point game. They have to foul, and there it is, Malone on McMillan. And Nate McMillan, 71% free throw shooter.
24, Jeff Malone.
With only 47 seconds to go, time certainly is in the favor of the Supersonics. You must stop that clock. And they have to foul. Now it's up to the Sonics to hit the free throw down the stretch.
Even at that, whether McMillan makes any or not, it's going to take Utah 3 possessions. Down by 7.
George Karl seems to be very comfortable sitting on the table over there, just relaxing with 47 seconds to go.
He's relaxed all right. If that isn't a pretend job, I've never seen one. He's dying inside, you know, with every play.
98-90. He's got all the cards. But 45 seconds left for Utah. 8 points to catch Seattle. Well, it was raining baskets in the second half, and the Rain Man, Sean Kemp, part of that, but Sam Perkins has been the key. 45 seconds. Utah with the ball, down by 8. They need a 2 somewhere regardless, so the 3 isn't necessary, and Malone isn't close. That'll about do it. Good keep away by Seattle. And finally, Malone, no, they still haven't whistled it, and Malone gets the foul, but they used 13 seconds before the whistle was blown.
Sam Perkins, he has been a monster today. If he doesn't hit the threes in the third quarter, Mark Eaton then can stay in the basketball game, and the tempo might stay in Utah's favor rather than the Sonics.
4 for 6 from 3-point range for Sam Perkins. college freshman at Carolina when they lost to Indiana in the '81 NCAA finals. Then in '82, the big prize for Dean Smith when they beat Georgetown. James Worthy, his teammate.
He's a guy that we say is too smooth. He doesn't flash. He doesn't give you anything, and you wonder what he does. He just gets the job done.
Looking for their 100th point. It would be Perkins' 20th today. A 70-point second half for the Sonics. Boom, boom, boom. They'll let Stockton go. Stockton with 19, all but 2 in the second half. Seattle can get ready for Monday night. The Houston Rockets will be in town for the first of the 7-game series. And so the 2 Western finalists last year, Portland and Utah, go out in the first round this year. A new guard in the NBA West, Sam Perkins from LA to Seattle, and he beats Utah today.
Jazz 92.
Gary Payton and Nate McMillan. Key in the backcourt, they're scoring. Everyone knows they're perhaps the best defensive pair of guards in the league, but they came up big on the offensive end.